Welcome to another wonderful Bub's Tricks video. Let's get started. Often it is the case that we work our asses off to save only a few cents. But don't take into account the bigger picture of what it's costing us poor people to try to save a little money. Those money-saving choices are actually not helping save at all. In fact, they're costing money. So be sure to watch until the end to understand the important lesson of this video. Number 1. Buying cheaply. I see it, I like it, I want it, I buy it. Well, that's all fine and good except if you keep buying cheap quality clothing. It's not going to last you very long. After a couple of washes your clothes will start to fall apart, the fabric will stretch, colors will fade. And before you know it you can't wear that item anymore. Poor people think they're saving money by buying the cheaper options. But when you have to keep buying it, it ends up costing the same as buying the good quality item in the first place. It would be more beneficial to save that money and buy once. You'll look better in the item, it will feel better on you, and it will last longer. Number 2. Buying a bigger house further away from the city. Let's paint a picture. Josie and Peyton both have $100,000 to buy a home. Josie decides to buy a bigger modern house further away from the city, while Peyton opts for a smaller home in the city that needs a bit of work. Here's a breakdown of the cost. Josie has $100,000. Her house costs $75,000. She buys new furniture to look the part for $25,000. Peyton has $100,000. The house costs $95,000. Peyton doesn't worry to buy new furniture and makes do with what he already has. Josie spends a fortune getting herself to and from work. She wastes time every day during the commute. Sadly, her house doesn't gain much value. And when it's time to sell, she makes little profit. What Josie saved on the initial purchase is a loss on other expenses. The rich guy, in this case Peyton, slowly renovates his home. He doesn't have to spend a lot of money on gas. And has plenty more time to do those renovations because of a smaller commute. Eventually he ends up selling his home for a tidy profit. And has made a sound investment. Number 3. Skipping routine medical checks. One of the biggest mistakes poor people make is not going for the regular checkups. Whether it's the dentist, the optometrist, or the gynecologist. These should always be a priority. As Mr. Materia, a Canadian church official, once said, "So many people spend their health gaining wealth and then have to spend their wealth to regain their health." Here's a typical scenario. A poor person chooses not to go for a dentist checkup because they don't have the extra money. Over time they experience the worst toothache you could imagine. And have to go to the dentist. Then the dentist finds several cavities, a rotten tooth, and gingivitis. The bill is now potentially thousands of dollars. And that person is out more money than if they had just gone for their regular checkups. Number 4. Buying on sale. Sale items are like clickbait. You see bright red and your buying instinct just kicks in. Plus you're saving money, right? Wrong. When you buy something on sale, sure, it costs less than regular price. However, money has still left your wallet and it hasn't been invested or saved properly. Let's be honest. Have you ever bought something you didn't necessarily need? But just because it was on sale you bought it? The money you saved just disappeared and you have something that will potentially never be used or that you didn't need. Poor people see a sale sign and they just buy because, well, their brain perceives it as saving money. But it could end up costing more if you are always browsing the sale rack. But trust me, we're not saying to avoid all sales. Hell no. But be sure the item you purchased was already something you were planning to buy. And you did your research of its worth. So finally, when you spot it on sale, bonus, you have saved some money. Number 5. Incurring unnecessary penalties or fines. We guarantee you that your government or municipality is not out to target the poor. All they want is everybody who drives a vehicle to have an up-to-date paid for vehicle license. When you don't renew your licenses you get penalized. And the fine received is far greater than the amount it would have cost to renew the license in the first place. And you're not that poor that you can't even pay attention. So listen carefully to our next suggestion. Number 6. Doing it yourself when you don't know what you're doing. In order to save on hiring a professional, poor people like to attempt the job themselves. As noble as that sounds, it can lead to way bigger problems. Number 7. Obtaining a cool second-hand car. New cars lose so much value and it's better to buy a second-hand car. But there's a stark difference between buying a reputable brand that is safe and buying a car just because you think it's cool. With used car purchases, if you don't do your homework properly, it could cost a fortune in the long run. Poor people will skip having their car checked by a mechanic to save on costs. Then buy a vehicle based on looks without proper checks being done. The maintenance and repairs of the vehicle can really mount up over time. Number 8. Buying in bulk. Super deal, unbelievable savings, and buy 2 get 1 free are all great at catching your attention and making you think you're really saving some cash dollars. However, poor people end up wasting money by doing this because they don't need 40 cans of tuna or 30 bags of spaghetti. It's even worse when it comes to fresh produce or perishables. Stores need to turn over stock quickly, so they create these unbelievable deals. And you end up taking 10 bunches of spinach home. How much of that will you genuinely eat? And how much is gonna go to waste? And there are other consequences of bulk buying. This surplus really takes up a lot of space. You also tend to eat more because if you've got 10 packets of cookies you've got on special, you're likely going to eat 10 packets of cookies you got on special. Number 9. Eating unhealthily and buying convenient foods. Virginia Woolf once said, "One cannot think well, love well, sleep well, if one has not dined well." This is a hugely negative factor influencing the poor. Dietary choices affect our entire being. We can't perform well if we've been eating processed foods, convenient food, or takeout. There are several socioeconomic factors that explain why poor people gravitate toward foods that are high in fat, salt, sugar, and low in nutritional value. The obvious reason is that it's cheaper. But there's also a not-so-obvious reason. Making fresh, healthy food from scratch is time-consuming. Poor people are often working several jobs to make ends meet, trapped in a financial, mental, and emotional crisis that requires every ounce of energy to survive the day. So by the end of it, it's a case of buying whatever is convenient. Number 10. Gambling get-rich-quick schemes and lotto tickets. Take a chance and you could get millions, but it's a chance. According to the North American Association of State and Provincial Lotteries, in America more money is spent on lotto tickets than any other form of entertainment. By comparison, in 2014, $70.1 billion were spent on lottery tickets, compared to $63 billion spent on sports tickets, movie tickets, music, books, and video games. The publication The Atlantic further explains that those that spent the most money on tickets are on the lower end of the socioeconomic spectrum. This brings us to the end today. What do you believe poor people ultimately waste money on when they think they're saving? We love hearing from you in the comments. Now that we're just about ready to wrap it up, it's time for your bonus. The most important lesson from this video. Poor people think they save money when they trade the future for the present. They opt for a cheaper alternative today that will cost them a lot in the future. So next time you're planning your finances, ask yourself, are you putting your future in trouble? Will it save you money now or in the future? The answer should always be, my future will be better because of this purchase. Until next time. Remember to hit this video with a thumbs up and subscribe. Thank you, and have a wonderful day.